What is good, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with not really a verse local series that we've been doing. I only was able to stay for like 2 rounds at local, so this is just kind of like a quick showcase of Regenesis here. We're end up going first against live Twin Fiendsmith, which is a very powerful deck in the next, I feel like it's going to be a very powerful deck coming on. I end up losing the dice roll. As you can see, I have like a pretty okay hand, but again, I feel like this deck has like a few things going for it when going second, plot big bodies. But playing into Disruption is just kind of hard. I have Regenesis Code, 2 Archfiend, which is still kind of brutal. But we just get to sit here and no interruption. It's kind of wild, the economy of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? When you open 0 disruptions, you just got to sit and watch the opponent play Solitaire. So it looks like we have Code, Regenesis, double Archfiend, and I don't know. So anyway, he makes the Link 1. And Link 1 says if I draw, if I interact with him, he gets to and interact with any live Twin cards he has to draw. And, joke's on him, we have no hand traps, so, he's not going to get a draw from us. Got him. But, yeah, we just got to sit here and just run through, the live Twin stuff. So this deck did end up having an okay showing. It got top 32, I believe, at YCS Providence. He was not on the Nadir package like I am on. I just really like the Nadir package for what it does. It gives you 2 draws, it can board break, it allows you to, bridges the combo together because of Fleur de Lis being 25-25. And, ripping potentially 3 cards from the opponent's extra deck, 1 being from Unicorn and 2 being from Maximus, just seems so strong in my opinion. And also knowledge, right? It gives you, knowledge and that turn 1 or turn 0, stuff going on. So, again, I don't know which is the correct route. I know, the top YCS, doesn't, we see plenty of decks go out there that top YCSs. It doesn't mean, that is the most effective strategy, etc. It just shows that the deck's core engine itself can, compete. Something I didn't know because I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player and I can't read is that Regenesis Sage contribute Regenesis cards from hand or face-up field, which means you can sack off your own trap, which means you can sack off the spells in your hand if you need to. It's just really insane. It sucks that I don't think there's a way for you to get back the trap, though, so, if you have to send it off, it's not too good. So you pretty much would want to use the Book of Moon for the trap first, then use, Sage to negate. But I'm trying to catch this last card in my hand. It looks to be... I just can't seem to catch it real quick in the editing and everything. I just really have been trying to focus and see which one it is because I'm very curious what's this last card that is it? I can't remember. We'll see it soon enough, I'm sure, but we see Desiree touching down and we have the Fiendsmith. It's kind of nice to see, if you guys don't know, I've been a huge, I don't like Fiendsmith, but I like when Fiendsmith is played in its proper decks, you know what I mean? So it's kind of nice that live Twins are literally fiends, light fiends, so it's being used in its own, engine, its own deck. Kind of like what it was designed for. Oh, it looks like Open Lord. Okay, there we go. Finally caught what that card was. So we end up going here into a Babadoo. This card's insane as well. This card's, such a cool card. We go Desiree to equip, then he's able to use a Barbecue to bring back out the Link 4, which gives him pretty much a pop and a draw. So this board's pretty rough. And, of course, I draw Ash Blossom for turn. 1 hand trap. It's just wild, man. So it's, trying to figure out... Even looking at the board, knowing what I have to play through. I don't know. So in the draw phase, I decided to go ahead and fire off Regenesis Code. This is going to summon out the Warrior, which is going to solve... This is the plan, right? I think I'm either summon out Warrior or summon out Sage. One will check the... No matter what I do, whatever I summon, whether it be Warrior or Sage, it's going to be able to potentially check one of these monsters out here. Except for if I go Warrior, which is what I do. I summon out Warrior. Warrior can't check Desiree, but Warrior can attempt to bounce back the Barbecue, the live Twins to go ahead and get the pop out of the way. So right here, still in the draw phase, I decided to go ahead and use Warrior's effect. Tribute Self for cost to target the Link 4 to go ahead and get the pop and the draw out of the way. Because again, that's a draw and that's a pop right there. The only thing that I know, this deck does main deck droplets. So if I'm able to, so he attempts to draw, and I think I just throw my Asher at this. So I just try to play this resource game where I keep him off anything. I don't need him drawing anything else than what he's got. So I just throw Ash. I know this isn't enough to, break the board or anything like that, but it might just be enough to potentially keep him from drawing into a crazy hand trap to stop me. Because he didn't have, Regenesis Code kind of to me seems like it passed the Ash check. So I decided to special summon out the Regenesis Archfiend on summon attempt to search. And this is pretty dangerous here, so he goes ahead, and I think he's thinking about barbecuing it, which is pretty bit crazy. So we need the 2500 body to stick if we're going to truly benefit from the other names in our hand, but I think he's just clarifying that, I think that's Sunny Snitch, so he'd be burning stuff, so I think he tries to, no, he doesn't do anything, okay. So he grabs Sage right here, Sage is the negate, and I think I do this just to apply pressure, so the Sage negate will kind of it can be used here to stop, check the Desiree or check the Barbecue, but no matter what happens, if he decides to go a barbecue first, and I try to stop it with the Sage, he, Desiree checks the Sage. So, like, it's really dependent here. Regenesis code also locked us out from the extra deck. Fun fact. So, like, we can't, like, go into any level 7 or Synchro 7. So he throws... Is that Ash Blossom? Interesting. Oh, no. So he saves the Desiree. Okay, so he tries to throw a barbecue, and then I attempt to negate. He then chains, which I think I would send for cost, which is interesting. So barbecue ends up banishing droplets, and there's the droplets. I end up summoning Lord, using Lord's effect to set. He goes ahead and uses Desiree here to target the Lord, and since Lord is negated, we can't go Battlefields and whack over Desiree, so we end up wrapping it up and going here into the game number 2. If we were going first, we would have a pretty decent hand, I feel like. But look at this hand right here. Look at this hand. 3 Regenesis, 1 Code, and 1 Birth. Like, that is all Regenesis cards in my hand. Like, what a garbage hand. Like, it's like so statistically improbable for this to happen, and just for it to happen. So my buddy Paul here, he throws the Ferraros, which, again, if Ferraros doesn't do nothing to us at all. Especially, I mean, so he throws Ferraros, and I chain the Regenesis code, and he attempts to imperm the Archfiend. So this is like the downside of Fiendsmith Live Twin, I feel like, is you have so much non-engine that you sometimes have bad hands. So I attempt to go ahead and activate Regenesis, just Regenesis, since I have 2 more in my hand. There should be a rule in the game where if you draw 3 ofs, you reveal the 3 to your opponent, and you can use all the effects in one go. Because that's just insane. So I think I just go for Sage. I think I try to go for a simplified game state. Since I already have access to the trap, since I hard opened it, there's no point in me getting Lord. Well, even though I go for Lord. I guess I could go for Lord, and then I can use the trap, set the trap, so then I have like Book plus Lord gives me access to another code, which would be pretty cool. So he decides to Ogre the Lord. So again, and then if you guys didn't hear it in the beginning of the video, he just said, he's like, just so you know, I don't know anything that your cards do, so I'm just going to throw everything and everything at you regardless. So again, he's just flinging everything he can, which is okay, because against this is like literally a new deck. I end up setting 3. So I set 1 Regenesis as a bluff, set the trap, and set the code. So essentially, I'm going to have a bounce with code, because I'll be able to summon used in his draw phase. Hopefully he doesn't draw Ash, right? He chains Ferraros here, and I'm like, yeah, can't do anything about it, so we're going to go ahead and summon out the Regenesis Warrior. So now we have a bounce and a Book of Moon. Crazy. But that's like a good sign for me. That means, like he was drawing. So he throws like another Ferraros just in case, just in case he'll still be able to get it. So he has 2 cards literally in hand, and I have 2 forms of disruptions. It's looking all right for me going forward here. I also, not being able to get back the Lord is kind of crazy. To think that the deck reoccurs itself pretty easily, but Lord itself does not come back. Like, once you use the Lord, it's gone. Like, that's just kind of wild. Like, when you think of, like, card design and everything like that. And also, like, remind me, like, this comes up later on, but, like, Regenesis, like, having that, like, clause, like, you can't use the effect. Like, if you use the effect to search, you can't use their second effects to turn they're sent to the graveyard, but you have, like, Rhoda cards, like, literally, track that lets you add, dump, and then you can fuse. That's just kind of crazy when you think of, like, Rhoda cards, but, like, Regenesis is, like, a card can't, like, banish and use its all effects in the same go. He normal summons Lori. I was like, hey, this is a good enough normal summon. I'm going to go ahead and use Regenesis. Crazy enough, I didn't know this card sent for cost. We confirmed it at my locals, and, like, if we're wrong, comment down below, but we confirmed this card does dump for cost. You target and send for cost, which is insane. So we go ahead and send that. He tries to go to end phase. End phase, the Sage gets added back. Didn't even have to use Warrior there. So I draw for turn. We draw into Dragon's Mind, which is an okay draw. It feels like Dragon's Mind was kind of made for this deck. So I think we just go on the attack. Special out the Regenesis Sage. We switch to attack. And then I do have the ability to use the Regenesis code, because I used it last turn to go ahead and summon out the Archfiend. Archfiend will get me a search. I think we go for, like, Dragon, too. I know some lists aren't playing Dragon, but Dragon is just spell and trap removal. It's utility. And again, it puts a 2,500 body on the field, which is, it's something, right? I was thinking there was potentially some lines you could do that would allow you to, like, use, like, some sort of Dragon engine if you wanted to do with the deck, too. But I don't know yet. I mean, like, there's probably some different engines. I know you could probably play, like, I know it's going to sound cringy, but, like, a Red Rose package to normal summon, so then you can make Synchro 10s, which would be kind of crazy. Because then, with all them being different attributes, you have the ability to negate, like, 6 cards with the Gen X Ally of Justice. which was you know, like that's 6 negates potentially. Especially when you start doing stuff. So we end up whacking him for a lot of damage. We make Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon here, and then we just go and activate Regenesis to go ahead and search for a Regenesis monster. So this right here, we just got very lucky here. Our opening hand was so bad that luckily for us, our opponent here opened not unplayable. Seems like he opened 4 hand traps plus a Fiendsmith, not Fiendsmith, 4 hand traps plus a like Fable Lori, and didn't draw into nothing. So like we just got insanely lucky here that our opponent opened unplayable. So then just explaining to him like what these cards do, and he's like, okay, yeah, no big deal. So now technically we have an Omni Negate, a bounce, and we're burning him. He's at like 900 after the massive poke with the 4 monsters. And nothing locked me into the extra deck, thank goodness. He's going to normal summon out Leela, or one of the cards that lets him summon. I'm just like, well, yeah, that's a good normal summon. All these cards equal something. So it's kind of interesting because... So he goes into... Oh, so he's thinking about going into Typhon, but he realizes that nothing is... They're all just 25, not the Typhon doesn't shut off anything, so I just bounce the Typhon. So we go into the all-important game number 3, where I draw double Ash, Nadir, and an Archfiend, and he normal summons out this one that summons from the deck. I was kind of thinking, I was like, you know, what are the chances? Even though it's off... So, like, here's my thought, right? So, if I don't throw Ash here... So, I throw Ash, right? So, throw Ash. If I don't throw it, he links into Link 1, dumps for cost, and I believe it comes out anyway. And then if I hold Ash, he gets a draw. So, I figured, throw it here. But we get sacked by Crossout. Even though I wouldn't even call it sacked. Crossout, I feel like one Ash, drawing double Ash instead of, like, double hand trap is just horrible, man. It's just such a bad feeling. Especially now he's going to be able to overlay for the Djinn, which is a monster negate. So now he's like nib-proof, which is super cool too. Like, it's just so cool seeing Live Twin finally be able to be playable like this. Like, it's crazy to see, like, it has anti-Nibiru lines. Like, so hypothetically, I think the Djinn can't stop Imperm. So, like, my hand would have to have been Ash Imperm, because he was able to establish the Djinn so soon that even if it was like Ash Nib, Ash Droll, like, he was going to be able to establish this negate, which is so cool. So it put me on better have Ash Imperm, and luckily for me, my deck was like, nah, man, you're going to get Ash. 2 of a kind, man. And yeah, so it's just... Nadir's super strong, but if he can pretty much play uninterrupted, so he's going to be able to put up the board he put up last time, which is just difficult to play into. And if without a side deck, without seeing a side deck, it's just, you know, it's YuGiOh in its core. Without seeing non-engine, without seeing a side deck, playing into these boards is nigh impossible. Not impossible, but pretty close to it. Especially with like cards like that, like the end board that Live Twin will put up is going to be so layered. It's just going to be kind of crazy. So he ends up making Desiree. Desiree being like, so here's the crazy thing. That's what I mean by layer. Desiree itself, like, is a negate, but when it gets into the graveyard, it's going to be able to pop or send something, which is like kind of wild. So we go on into the big Link 4. Link 4 is going to tribute itself, summon out the 2. And the Link 4 is actually kind of crazy as well. Especially you can banish it from the graveyard if you want to play the brick. But we see a Baba Q come out. Baba Q is going to be able to summon out the Link 4, and then it's going to bring itself back. So this, like I said, this is just kind of wild that this, like, that line gets you to the Link 4, which then which summons back the 2 to make you a Baba Q, and then you get back to Link. It's like such free real estate. So I think we ended up drawing Regenesis code yet again, and it's pretty, like, it's kind of the same writing on the wall. I have slightly better cards in my hand than I did game 1, but looking at Desiree, the only hope I'd have is Nadir's Servant to resolve. Like, if I'm able to force everything to bait everything, and then Nadir's Servant resolves. That's literally the only hope I got, because Nadir's Servant would potentially draw me into certain things. So I attempt to go ahead and bounce the Baba Q, just go ahead and get it out of the way, because I know, like, he has no cards in hand, so he's going to summon the 2, he's going to get a draw and a pop. Potentially one of the sets, so he's not going to get the pop, but this is what's crazy, is like this deck can utilize droplets, so I attempt to Ash the draw again, keep him off a card in hand. So I'm like, alright, okay, we can do this. We can do this. No cards in hand. We'll activate Regenesis. He's going to... I think he was attempting to fire off Desiree here. And like, I'm trying to think, like, maybe there's a world where I just go battle, but I have Archfiend plus Nadir in hand. I go ahead and search out. I think I just go for Sage. Arguably, like, man, maybe you don't. Maybe I don't use, like, Archfiend's effect and I just put 2 level 7s on the field, but I'm locked from the extra deck. So then I got maybe to attempt to go battle, but Desiree's still lurking there. But I guess, like, hypothetically, activate to reveal. anything. He goes droplets. The droplets is pretty crucial here. So he's able to send the one that didn't pop, and then he's able to use the one that drew to bring back the one that popped, and he pops my body, which that's just kind of crazy interaction. That's pretty cool. But we're going to go see Nadir Servant try to fire off. It's my last push, but he has Desiree. He opts to negate it. So, yep, that's all we do. So we wrap it up and go into the next game, which is going to be the last game of the game against Ubell. We end up winning the dice roll. And this is a very good game, in my opinion. We end up winning the dice roll, which is like half the fight, right? Like, if you win the dice roll, you're halfway to victory. And Ubell, they have one Phantom Man. I was like, I'm going to be able to potentially look at the cards. So I draw Fenrir, Sage, Ashe, Archfiend, and it looks like Nadir. So I'm trying to contemplate. I was like, okay, so how can I do this without, you know, like, I want Nadir to resolve. So I end up special summoning out Fenrir. I go ahead and activate to special summon out the Archfiend. Attempt to use the effect. He throws Ashe at the Archfiend, which I'm like, yep, that sucks. But I go ahead and special out the Sage now to go and establish the negate. So now I have the ability to play through stuff. So I go ahead here and fire off Nadir Servant, which is this is a good showcase here to show you how strong Nadir Servant is, especially like going into, like, he's already through Disruption. He can't Ashe he can't Ashe it. So we're gonna go ahead and search out for Maximus. We're gonna get a draw off of the Nadir. So again, like, I know the YCS list was playing a lot of Mochummies, which is probably a correct call for the YCS because of the amount of Malice, the amount of Ryziel, and all that stuff was gonna be there. But we're gonna draw a card. And we rip into we go Fenrir effect to go ahead and search for Unicorn. I believe I ripped into it on the Unicorn, so I have 2 Unicorns now. We're going to activate Maximus, banishing the Garua. And then he's going to attempt to fire Imperm here at the Maximus when I try to activate it. I'm like, dang, but wait a minute. I was like, no. We're going to go ahead and use the Sage here to negate the Imperm. So then it's going to make sure it resolves. Because this right here is going to get me into Titanclad and Farigite. Go to the graveyard. So I'm going to get a draw Farigite and a putback. So I get to correct my hand. So if I do have double Unicorn, this is why I really like the Nadir package, man. It gives you like this draw 2, like Graceful Charity-esque effect. And if you're going second, it can give you pops, which allows you to potentially break boards and stuff like that, and then it gives you recursion. So we end up drawing into, I think, Dragon. So I tribute summon here too. Tribute summon into Unicorn, activate Unicorn's effect to grab Birth, and then I think I just go Birth effect to reborn out the Kashtira, and then I believe I just pass it over to him. In phase, we summon out Ecclesia to go ahead and add his Fleur-de-Lis. So we are looking at a Fenrir, Unicorn, a Negate with the Sage, and a Imperm with Fleur-de-Lis. So I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4 forms of disruptions plus a hand trap through Ashe Imperm, which is pretty solid. Buddy Kyle's going to start out with firing off Imperm. I was like, okay, what's your target here? So I think he goes after Unicorn. I'm like, yeah, you know what, that's fine. That is, or I think he hits Fenrir. I think he goes after Fenrir. So he normal summons out Lori, which is kind of crazy that the Fiendsmith decks. So we go here, Tribute. I just throw Ashe at the Requiem because, you know what, keep him off of Fiendsmith. And then I'll Resolution Chain the Unicorn. Go ahead and get rid of that Phantom of Ubell. Phantom of Ubell being at 1 sucks for the deck, but actually you can see he attempts to go Talents. I'm like, yeah, I got to negate Talents. Talents is too good. He goes Nightmare Pain. I was like, yeah, Nightmare Pain is pretty strong. So then, but on Resolution, Birth is going to activate, banishing 3 cards from his graveyard. So he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, never mind. We'll just go into game 2. So we go into game 2. I go Ashe, Imperm. I think I see double effect Veiler. So let's see, these are the hand traps you want to see. So he attempts to Ashe, or he goes Cross out with opening the Spirit Gates because I throw Ashe at it. Crosses that out, which again, kind of crazy. You know, get Cross out is, it's kind of strange because I feel like these 3 ofs that you shouldn't see, people are seeing him a lot more. So it makes him like a little bit crazier. So he ends up setting 2 passing. I end up special out Unicorn using Unicorn's effect. Attempt to go ahead and grab Birth. This is where I kind of wish I had Theosis, because I think if I were able to grab Theosis bring out Fenrir to search for the cash would be like better, maybe? I don't know, like cash Theosis into Fenrir would give me the on-form negate. I do have Fleur-de-Lis in my hand, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's the cool thing about this synergy. So if Fleur-de-Lis was a Mulchummy or something like that, I'd have already would have thrown it and it could have done something right, but like if it was like essentially like I would have drawn, you know what I mean? Like it has a 2500 stack, which allows me to get the Archfiend out, which is what I want. I think he goes hard droplets here. And I was like, whoa, well, uh-oh. Hard droplets. I kind of look, I was like, man, maybe I can make a rank 7. I go and activate Birth. Arguably, I should have. I should have made a rank 7. This is, you know, hindsight's insane. I should have made a rank 7. I should have gone into the, probably maybe Draco Sack. I could have gone like, see, this is where I wish I had the cards to do the Draco Sack line. I could have maybe gone Draco Sack to a draw 2. Or I could have gone into the rank 7 Dragoon, or there's like a Dragoon Lancer that lets you pop a card. I could have popped the Spirit Gates, which is what I should have done, but I, for some reason, valued the Unicorn Rip, but I would have been able to birth back out the Unicorn anyway. So again, you know, hindsight, you're always learning. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game of learning and experience, so you just gotta remember that. But we see the Phantom of Ubell come out, and I think he just passes on the Phantom of Ubell. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we get to draw. And it's like, okay, so now I got to play this insanely smart here. So I start looking at my extra deck. I was like, I can go big guy. He has Paradise too, but Paradise is like, so I should have read Paradise myself because I totally forgot you have to, like, Sequence has to have a Light Fiend to shuffle back. So I was super scared of Paradise because I thought, like, oh, he's going to be able to dump, you know, Desiree and Desiree shove back. But there's no Light Fiend in rotation for him to be able to use that effect. So I kind of should have read the card a little bit better so that way I would understand the board state a lot more thoroughly. And I think that this game too is definitely like winnable. So now I'm just like, okay, so I essentially just got to solve Paradise and a Phantom when all I have to do is just solve Phantom, which is not like super big of a deal. Especially when I drew into another Archfiend, I can go Archfiend effect. But I'm trying to, I was like, I need Archfiend to resolve, so I was just trying to figure out the correct way to do this. One card in hand. I'm like, okay, so maybe I go into Big Eye, bait the Big Eye, or use Big Eye to try and force the Phantom. Or in my mind, like currently, like I see this now, like post commentary, but like in my mind, I'm trying to force out the Paradise in the graveyard. Like summon, effect detach, attempt to take. He decides to negate it or use the Phantom's effect to make it destroy a Ubell from deck. God, it'd been really nice to have an Ash for this, I tell you what. And then he summons out the OG Ubell. I was like, okay, well, that is no bueno. I need to probably put Zeus in my... But I can't attack, I don't believe, with Big Eye the turn I activate the effect. So then I use Birth to bring out the Unicorn. This is where he attempts to go Paradise, but he's like, oh, I can't. And I was like, oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. I've been playing around that darn card, and I didn't even need to play around it. So I activate Fleur-de-Lis, or activate, you know, don't even activate, Special on Archfiend by revealing Fleur-de-Lis. Again, Fleur-de-Lis stats come in really clutch here, because again, if this was hypothetically Molchummy and he didn't play into it, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been kind of in there. So now I'm just trying to push for damage, and I kind of get a little greedy. So I go ahead and, you know, summon out the Lord to summon out, or to grab Genesis. I go and activate Regenesis to go ahead and grab out the Warrior. I should have grabbed Sage here, man. Sage should have been the correct line, and I attempt to go. But I was just trying to... I can't get over it, so this is where Warrior was, like, actually correct. I go ahead and use Warrior's effect to bounce back the Ubell into hand, and then I attempt to go Battle Phase, and we get smoked with this ding-dong Nibiru. Comes down, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about Nibiru. I wasn't even trying to play into it. So we're just counting the summons, because I was thinking, I was like, you know, maybe I'm lucky, maybe I'm off by one, and I'm able to just, you know, squeeze this out. But no, a Warrior was I think Lord was the 5th summon, and he held it. Given, you know, hindsight, if he would have, like, tried it on the Warrior, summoned a Warrior, just chain Warrior, bounce back the thing anyway. But we're gonna see Ubell come out. He attempts to activate a spell, and I was like, wait a minute, 1 second, let me read Kashtira Birth. So, oh, yep, don't control Kashtira, so can't do that. So I just had this effect there's got to hold the line. And it's just kind of like one of those things, you get punished for getting greedy. I just wanted to wrap it up as quick as I could, because I know, like, Ubell, like, this deck is also one of those decks that's like a Fiend deck that has no restrictions on it. So, like, they're able to play crazily. So he ends up activating the card, he's just going to whack in the token, and I take the damage. I was like, darn, that was definitely winnable if I didn't get greedy. But it was like one of those things where I almost had to get greedy, because this deck has such a crazy, like, the Fiendsmith and everything. So I get to go first. If you guys can see, my cards are all whacked out. And we get to go first into game number 3. Open Talents, Imperm, Regenesis, and Fenrir. So I think we start out with Fenrir, summon out Fenrir. Use the effect of Fenrir, question mark, or do we fire off Regenesis? I think, yeah, I'd decide to fire for Genesis just because I have Tactics in my hand. So I think... What do we go for? You know what I'm kind of thinking as I've been playing this? It'd be kind of cool if the deck was able to get like a normal summon, where on your turn only, the normal summon could boost its attack to 2,500. Or 2,500 defense, you know, like something like that, something not super strong. Because a level 4 normal summon that like could boost its attack to, would be 25, would be kind of crazy. So like a 2,500 defense would be kind of cool. So then like it's a normal summon that does something for Regenesis, and then it gets all this stuff. And then we go ahead and get our Unicorn. I think since, yeah, so we go ahead and special summon out the Archfiend to go ahead and add. So we're getting pretty much a good board set up here. It seems like so I keep it in mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, so I know he's playing Nib. Don't play into Nib now. You got punished by Nib. Don't get punished again. But I decided to go ahead and grab a Lord. And this is where I kind of make this is a dangerous mistake. I'm very fortunate in this mistake of what my buddy Kyle here starts out with, because it's not optional. During the battle phase, Lord gains 2,500, so it becomes 5,000. And as the Ubell literally can win by activating Nightmare Pain, and summoning Ubell and whacking into me. Like that's more than enough. So I go ahead and summon out the dragon, which dragon is going to be insane here because it's a spell and trap pop, essentially, and we're going to be able to solve these continuous spells like Nightmare Pain, like opening the Spirit Gates. But see, we're very blessed here because he activates Pot of Prosperity. It's kind of wild, man. Watching this back, Kyle's seen a lot of sacky one-ofs, dude. Like, cross out, Pot of Prosperity. I mean, given I was able to see talents in this hand, but of course he didn't have any hand trap for me to fling it at. But Kyle here is built different, being able to see these good one-ofs. So we see a pitching of Fiendsmith Engraver. And that's just what's kind of wild, is like the Engraver is going to be able to bait so much stuff that it's just so powerful. It is really insanely powerful. So he's going to pitch Lori effect to summon. Right here, I feel like this is a good opportune time. I was like, we'll just go Finra effect to banish the Lori. You know, put you on normal summon, essentially. And the normal summon of Lacrima. Again, I think it's a one-of in the deck, but that's just wild, man. Wow. But anyway, he normal summons Lacrima. I go ahead and just in-perm Lacrima. I was like, all right, let's just keep you off Fiendsmith. You've connected your normal summon. So he goes into Requiem. Arguably, maybe I should have Book of Moon. That being the normal summon, I probably should have fired off the Book of Moon here. I'm probably... this is like one of the misplays. I should have probably just done a resolution, since that was the normal. I guess Squirmer, but I don't think there was anything for Squirmer to be able to... Grave Squirmer to be able to bring back. So he equips. I'm going to attempt to chain. He's going to... Well, I would attempt to chain. He's like, wait a minute, is that tribute for cost? And I was like, yeah. So he attempts to call by. And I was like, okay. Well, now I'm kind of forced to Book of Moon the Engraver. So I go, yep, chain Regenesis Birth to go ahead and Book of Moon. So it's just going to keep him from bouncing a card. And it's going to give me a card back during the end phase. So I go ahead and send Archfiend here so that during the end phase I can get Archfiend back to my hand. So I can at least have some sort of follow-up. And then, yeah, that's all. We're just clarifying. I was like, yeah, so the equip falls off, so you can't bounce me. So now it's like, okay, I just got to hold the line here. Hopefully, I mean, like, he committed his normal summon, and he activates, I believe that's Nightmare Pain. So that's just, again, Kyle's just built different. Opens Nightmare Pain. He's able to destroy and search the Squirmer, summon out Ubell. And I think we just kind of go here. I only have Tactics and I think Unicorn, but that's okay. So, like, I have a pretty decent follow-up, I feel like, because of the ability that Archfiend's going to add itself back. So we summon out. So he's probably going to be able to make Phantom, right? So it's like I just got to play through Phantom. And the Book of Moon checks Phantom. The Book of Moon, as long as he doesn't solve the Book of Moon, as soon as it goes my turn, I can Book of Moon the Phantom. But right now, luckily, I'm only able to take half damage, because I think he could just go Ubell and attack. If he could get a second Ubell, he could just attack, and I would take. If he didn't use Prosperity, I would die here, because he just attacks into the Lord, which is huge. So he's sitting there thinking, he's like, maybe I go for Lord, or maybe I go for Phantom. It's just, again, like, this deck is just kind of insane, because, like, when I look at other decks, like, there's, like, no restriction. Like, even if, like, the Live Twin deck, I feel like there's some things that, like, are restrictive. Like, their monsters require you to have, like, Live Twin or Evil Twins. And I guess arguably they're probably the same restrictive level, actually, to be honest with you. Probably the same type of restrictive. But, like, that's, like, where... I don't know, man. Like, just... Konami never makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Fairly. Konami will make one archetype super fair, and then Konami will be like, oh, hey, here, this archetype has no restrictions. I don't know the design, or like what the design team thinks when they do it. Maybe they spin a wheel to decide which like theme will have like no restrictions and stuff. But we're still set pretty good, because I can still fire off Regenesis here to bring back the Archfiend, which makes me, if like he stops the Archfiend effect in the end phase, which I don't know if he decides to do or not. But I'm looking at my extra deck. I'm like, okay, so like, what can I do here? Is there anything like I can do? I think I was reading Typhon actually, because I thought he might go in Typhon. Oh, I'm just reading. So this is the card I'm looking at right now. That's the card I should have probably gone in during last game to go ahead and solve the opening of the Spirit Gates, but I decided not to for some reason. So right here, we just take a few minutes. Buddy Kyle just thinking about his lines and stuff like that, which now looking back on it, like time ends up becoming an issue in this game. So So now, like, looking at it, he's just trying to see, like, what he can do. Which, again, I'm combo players, right? So, like, combo decks are, like, hard. You want to always, like, try to make the most, like, optimal avenue, because if you make, like, a sin one minor, like, misplay or choose, like, the wrong sequence, the wrong line, you can potentially, like, throw the game. So he decides to use the Engraver effect to go ahead and bring himself back. He decides to try and fuse, and this is where I was bringing it up earlier in the video, where it's like, wild, like, I can't use my 2 effects in the same turn, but literally Track has, like, no restriction. You can use it as to fuse and search. That's just kind of freaking wild. And someone even's like, well, you have to use from hand or field. Okay. Like, whoop-de-doo. Like, you have to use, like, a normal, it's like a polymerization. I mean, could you imagine if Track was, like, a, like, ultimate, or is it super, or miracle fusion? You could, like, you could fuse using cards in your graveyard as well. Like, that would be insane. That would be, like, a whole new level, but it's wild enough as it is. Thank goodness someone on the like, design team was like, you know what, let's just make it, like, a normal polymerization, which is still cool because it lets the deck fuse into, like, Desiree and stuff like that. But he ends up making Aerial Eater, and I was wondering, like, maybe could Aerial Eater have dumped the Lotus? Which I don't know, I can't see because of the glare if he did that anyway, but he goes ahead and makes the High King Caesar, which is super strong, which is a very powerful card in the moment. However, I don't know if he's big enough to whack over. So we end up seeing him make out Yama effect. So now we go Unchained line here, which is still pretty cool. It's still kind of cool. I think Ubell does it. I don't know if Live Twin can do, like, the Ubell stuff, or, like, can do the live, what is it? Jesus Lord. The Unchained stuff. There we go. Because I was thinking, I was like, Unchained Twins, and I was like, so you have, like, 4 sets. You have Live Twin and then Unchained Twins. So I don't know if they can use the Unchained stuff. That'd be kind of cool. But he ends up making... This is still pretty solid. You know, like, he essentially played through 3... Well, really only 3 forms of disruption. Yeah, 3 forms of Book, an Imperm, and Finrir. Then we end up in phase adding back. So we got to crack this board, which isn't too bad. Like, I have Talents, which is going to be a very powerful push. I draw Regenesis, which isn't bad. So, like, Regenesis, hypothetically... Maybe I should... I go ahead and fire off. I go effect to Book of Moon, the Phantom. I should have used maybe Regenesis to... He's chains the... I can't think of his name. The Blue Dog to go ahead and synchro off into... Or he doesn't use Blue Dog yet. Okay. I go ahead and attempt to banish to summon out the Sage. So I dump Sage with Rebirth to try and use this line here. So he goes ahead and negates the Caesar. I'm like, okay. He attempts to go ahead and link into SP effect. I'm like, what are you going to target? He targets the Lord. So Lord's now out of rotation. I was like, okay, so this is a huge misplay here. I should have special summoned Unicorn. I don't know why I didn't, but I go ahead and fire off Tactics for as Tactics to take. And this is like horrible misplay. I should have specialed Unicorn, then used Tactics. But if I special, he could have got rid of my Unicorn. So, like, I guess hindsight, it's still the same. At least this leaves me the 2,500 in name that I can use here. So we go ahead and attempt to go Archfiend, reveal Unicorn, Archfiend effect. So I just gotta somehow beat this like set card and literally Phantom and Nightmare Pain. So, like, it's doable. It is so doable. We end up searching out I think it was Warrior. And then we're going to use Regenesis search out Sage, I believe. Yeah, so because I dumped a Sage. And I'm planning on cutting Sage down to 1. I was playing 2 in this list, and I'm again fortunate. I should have done this maybe a little bit smarter. But, like, Rebirth here is going to do, like, Birth is an insane card. Like, being able to soul charge. So I special summon out the Warrior, special summon out the Sage. I go ahead and use Warrior's effect to go ahead and bounce back the Phantom to go ahead and get it off the field. And he attempts to go Unchained. I chain the Sage to negate the trap. And I pretty much get to poke for 16 and 25. Puts me at 30, puts him at 39 and me at 3,000. And then I think I just hard normal summon here. I should have probably linked into my own SP, if, like, looking at it. But then I go here, go into Unicorn effect to search Birth to bring back the Finrir. And then during his turn, I'm going to be able to fire off Birth as he goes, like, draw phase. Birth is going to allow me to reborn as many as I can. So I'm looking at, I was like, oh, wait, how should I do this? So I summon out Warrior, Sage, and then I think about summoning out the quick effect, the spell and trap, but I stop, and instead I summon out Archfiend to go ahead and search an Archfiend. So now I have like recursion, but essentially he goes, his frame 1 is summoning out the Ubell again, which is not bad. I'm looking back to check the time. I'm just thinking like, dang, time's gonna get me here. Like, it's just wild. Like, we are in the driver's seat. Like, this board beats 1 Ubell. This board, like, is just so strong, and we're about to get just yonked by time here. So unfortunate. Like, it just happens this way, but it is what it is. Where he's staring down, essentially, I'm going to negate, a banish, X-Deck banish, a bounce. So again, I can just go effect, attempt to bounce. He could attempt to negate. I can negate with the Sage. He has two cards, literally. I'm going to be able to, at resolution, I can go Fenrir effect to go ahead and banish the unpairing, and then he attempts to Ghost Ogre. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Then Ghost Ogre, and then, yeah. And then, there it is, open board. Time gets called, man. Nothing can be done. It's just so unfortunate. There's not even enough time for me to scream Battle Face, because during his turn, like, the Sage, all these cards would come back to my hand. And, yeah, it's just unfortunate, but we lose due to time, which is, again, but it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for commenting. Stay safe, stay healthy. Charles from Team COG, signing out.